with this great value. We want to get this out to a lot of people. Okay, so let's get started. Good evening, everyone. And again, the lines are continuing to fill up. People are excited about this Zoom tonight, and they have great reason to be excited. As you saw on the flyer, Jeff actually gave Eric Garrison that name, King of the Nodes. He's the King of the Nodes. So that's like we've anointed him that here on our team. But let me start by just telling you all a really quick story. You know, I was introduced to IX Global by Cedric Harris last July, and it only took me a couple of minutes to say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this." And I immediately was ignorance on fire, didn't never had heard of nodes, didn't know what a node was. I understood what crypto that was backed by something that excited me, but had never heard of a node. So I was ignorance on fire, started sharing this with a lot of people. And in a couple of months, I won this trip to Barcelona, Spain. So, you know how you go to events and you're really trying to feel out the people and, just feel what you're a part of and get an understanding of everything. And so one night we were at this white party and I'm like, okay, I got to really learn what a node is. And I saw this guy, Eric Garrison. He was standing up outside on one of the tables. Everybody was looking all nice and he had on his white, looking all handsome. And I'd heard people whispering like, this guy has 100 nodes. I think back then it was just only 100, right? Something like that. So this guy has 100 nodes. I'm like, okay, I know I don't know him, but I'm going to tap him on the shoulder and he is going to explain to me what a node is. Tap, tap, tap. Excuse me, sir, but can you tell me what exactly is a node? And so we have with us the Node King. Nodes have, I don't know if they've changed his life, but he has 700 of them. So I would say he knows about nodes, benefiting from them like a lot of us are. And some of you are brand new here, never heard of a node. This is still a great place for you all to be tonight because I say this, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jeff and Eric. The world is changing big time. Technology that didn't exist 15 years ago is here today. And with this changing of opportunity, with this changing of the financial system, with new asset classes, with the evolvement of with technology evolving, there's a lot of opportunity. And so we're here on this line tonight because Eric Garrison has taken advantage of this opportunity. He's going to show us how he did it. He's going to answer questions. So get your questions ready. And I can't think of anybody other to interview him than our birthday boy. Y'all didn't know we have a birthday boy on the line. It's his born day, Mr. Jeffrey Trills from Trillionaire Elite. Wait a minute, we got to unmute real quick, y'all. Let's wish Jeff a happy birthday. If y'all could unmute real quick. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Much appreciated.
Happy birthday.
Much appreciated.
If it's your
Love
birthday,
it.
make some noise.
All right, that person must be from Baltimore.
It's Tanya.
Oh, hey, Tanya. Hey, Tanya. All right.
Hey, Boomy, it goes like this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jeff. Happy birthday to you.
Oh,
Appreciate you, man. Bars do.
Happy birthday, Jeff. Good
Appreciate
time.
it. Appreciate it. This is the best gift ever. People are on. People are on the most powerful call of my birthday. So I'm excited, man.
You are there, tell us.
I'm going to mute back out, and then Jeff, you can unmute
Okay.
everyone back over. And let me tell you guys, Jeff is crushing the business. He's serious. He's focused. He has his own traditional business that keeps him very busy. But he said, I'm not letting this opportunity pass me by, ranking up like crazy. Not too long ago, hit influencer, but he's like, I ain't stopping there. This guy is serious and he's focused. And Jeff, I'm going to swing it to you so that you can bring all this good millionaire mindset out of the great Eric Garrison.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for me. I'm super excited about this day, right? Because I get to share my birthday with a gentleman I admire, man. Like if you guys seen the post of a man in the hospital holding up his phone, talking about even in the hospital, my coins are mining. This is the infamous guy you saw in the picture, right?
Yep.
And so that when I saw that picture, Eric, it really struck a chord with me because it's like, man, this man's legacy is set, right? God forbid, or if he's like, imagine you had to be at work at that time, but you laid up in the hospital handling, unfortunately. But at least you're secure, your family's secure, life is secure. No matter what's going on, he's holding up his node, his wealth generation blueprint in the hospital, y'all. So that struck a chord with me. I was also speaking to somebody today who just said, man, she wished she got her mother's peach cobbler recipe. That's what we call SOPs, right? That's what we call documenting the process, right? Imagine all the great recipes that died with the person who made them, but didn't write a blueprint on how to make it so that it can continue throughout the family's generation. So on my good, great born day, I get to now document this blueprint that I was in the room with Mr. Eric Garrickson as he started to lay out a blueprint that can be set generations. So when my kids or whoever, years later, like, there goes my great granddaddy, Jeff Trills, right? And he had the blueprint, baby, right? And so this is what it's all about for me. That's why I said the best gift you can give me is to jump on the Zoom and share this with others. Because Mr. Eric Garrickson, we spoke and I've seen you multiple times, but when we was in DR, right? And it stuck with me, bro. Right? We was in DR having casual conversations. And he was like, yeah, when the drip come out, I got $1 million put to the side for the drip. Like it's regular conversation. I'm sorry if I know that, but what it did for me, it really solidified your thought process. He said, I have $1 million to the side just for drip. And it was like regular conversation. But this is regular in Mr. Eric's world. So I need us to understand the power because, Eric, you got people that say, I'm waiting for this thing to move before I buy some more. I don't know what, the nose drop. I was nervous, you know what happened, right? And so for somebody who has a lot of no's, would definitely have something to say about things that's going on in the market, right? So first of all, thank you so much for showing up, Eric. And I want to start out by asking you, who is Eric Garrickson? Where you from? And how'd you raise up in the ranks to where you were able to have just generational wealth that you built for your family?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for having me here. Thank you, Boomy. Thank you, Jeff, and happy birthday, Jeff. This is a lot of fun for me because first and foremost, I want to keep this real. I want to keep this, no fluff. This is facts. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a guy that created my own little plan and I stuck to it. And it's allowed me to get from where I started at to where I am now. And I'll share a bit about me, my background, what I did. So I have to rewind 23 years ago now. 23 years, I was introduced into a sector of technology that a lot of people probably on here have taken advantage of, and that's wonderful. I love it. I got introduced to the Forex market is really what happened to me. When I first started out in Forex, it was not an easy road because we didn't have education like we do now. It was more, you kind of just found something that you liked, you stuck with that, and you had to learn it. And I remember I came out of the chute, I was so excited. I was like, okay, I put together $100,000, selling a lot of stuff, and I lost it all in about 3 weeks. It was gone. Why was it gone? And I looked at that as what happened? Where did it all go? It just didn't disappear. I caused that to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I looked at it as, yeah, it was painful, but I looked at it as I paid a major tuition into something that I had seen others be very successful at, and what did I do wrong? And so what did I do at that time? I went and found educators. I went and found people that have already made their way. I paid that price, and I wanted to make sure that I learned that strategy within that to be able to build something around, which would allow me to be able to get to where I am today, okay? And if I would have given up back then, 23 years ago, when I lost that money, I wouldn't be here in front of you guys right now. I know that, because I would have felt defeated. I would have given up. And how many people on here have felt that way, defeated, have given up on something that they believed in? Well, I went back to the drawing board, and I ended up teaming up with a group of people that allowed me to be able to learn trading. And I learned trading slowly. I just built it up. I didn't jump in with 100 grand again. Started out with a few $1,000s, and I accumulated a strategy over time, and I was able to accumulate money over time. And so that's been the primary thing that along the way that has allowed me the access to be able to have the funds that I have now to do what I do. But along the way, I learned what we all teach, which is diversification. Okay, it is so essential in life, especially now in this day and age, not so much back 23 years ago, but really now having multiple streams of income. You know, back then when I started making money, what did I do? I started dabbling in other things. I started buying and selling cars. I started getting involved in what we call options trading. I started to diversify in a lot of different things that would generate me some small cash flows. And what would I do with those cash flows? I would take that and put it back into my primary source of income at that time, which was the Forex trading. And I was able to scale that up over time. So now let's fast forward where we are right now in this time, okay? So if I rewind back just a little bit, 6 years ago is really when I started to get involved in crypto. I started to see what I saw 23 years ago in trading, the beginning of an opportunity that's worldwide, that is so massive, yet we have yet to even see where this is going to go. Even though we have little blurts of bad news here and bad news there, and this happening and that happening. Listen, we've had that in Forex too, you guys. You know, this crypto is not going to disappear. It's only going to get bigger and bigger. So now let's look at the situation we're in right now. We're involved in a company called DebtBox. Okay, DebtBox is a company that is designing software to do what? It's using software to generate money or to generate coin on the blockchain. If we really understood how big blockchain is, we would just be dancing around all day long, because I'm telling you, blockchain is so big. Let me tell you one factual thing that maybe not a lot of people understand. Blockchain is the ability to transfer something on it safely and securely to an end point. Okay, now when you look at blockchain in the healthcare industry right now, United Healthcare, for instance, they're a massive company, and what do? They do healthcare. But when a doctor sits down and transfers a file to another doctor that's requested it, they can now transfer it on blockchain. What do? They take that document, blow it up into a million pieces, send it over blockchain basically, and then it's compiled back again on the other end safely and securely, so the doctor has that. Why do they do it that way now with blockchain? Does anybody have an answer for that? For safety reasons. Because if somebody were to hack that block, they're only going to get a small portion of it, not all the big pieces of it. Okay, it's the same thing when we transfer money. It's the same thing when we transfer anything on blockchain. So we look at this technology with blockchain, and blockchain is what we are putting our money into. We're getting involved in that blockchain. All right, so when we look at that, we've got to be able to generate money to be able to do that with. We have to create and I call it the foundation. You know, and this, you guys, this is an open forum. I want to, if there's questions, please stop me, but I want to explain, you have to create a business, a foundation, before you can ever get to an end goal. All right. That is extremely important. And I started realizing that as I was going along in life, that if I'm generating cash flow, I'm only going to put X amount of dollars back into assets. And I'm going to allow those assets to be able to grow for me. And in turn, I'm going to pay myself. I'm going to pay myself something and reward myself for my efforts in what I'm doing. And that's going to allow me to, first of all, feel good about myself because I'm doing it. But then it's going to also allow me to be able to give back to others and help others as we go along. And in turn, have those assets. It's extremely important is to pay yourself as you're going along. So you have to start making a list of things that you can do. And a lot of people on here, I'm sure, or are out there in our groups are like, what can I do to generate extra cash flow? What can I do to create cash flow so I can create assets? We've got the vehicle to get where we need to go in the long run. Because I'm looking out another 20 years. You know, I'm 50 years old now. I'm looking, okay, where are we going to be at when I'm 75, 25 years from now? All right. So we've got the vehicle, which is what? Debt box. Okay.
Hold on. I see,
Sure.
See, if you just heard what Eric said, he's looking out 25 years from now. One question.
Yes.
First of all, what were the things? Give us examples of things that you did to get the money up. Now, I know. So first, let me ask you: you build your wealth with forex and options and crypto, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You've got a plan of take profit for yourself and then a portion of reinvesting into the forex market or whatever it can be, right? Okay. So now, can you give us examples of what you've done with like to get the money up, right?
Sure. So diversification in the things that I was doing to generate cash flow during that time was buying and selling of high-end vehicles. That was something that I did that didn't take away from the money I was making in trading, but it was just allowing me to be able to get into something, generate an income to be able to put back in, but then also enough income with that to diversify into other things. So when we look in life right now, what are good assets, you guys? Real estate. So I was doing a lot of real estate, buying and selling of gold, jewelry, watches, things like this. You know, I have a tendency to gravitate to people that are already having that success in a sector. I pay them what they're good at to teach me what they're doing or get involved with something that they already have that is going. Okay. That is truly a way to diversify within what you're already doing, is learning from others that have already had the success that you want. It's so important. I teach that all the time in my groups. If you see somebody that is having success in something that you like a hobby or whatever it may be, something that you like, and you can actually learn that and utilize that as income to be able to put back into something that you're already working on. And that's where that comes back to Jeff, what I was saying, that, you know, learning those areas. Now, are you going to hit it on every one of them? No, you're not. You're going to pay that tuition. You're going to put money out and you may lose it. And I'll tell you, I've lost a lot of money over the years getting involved with things, but I always learn something though. When I learn from those, I figure out, okay, is this good for me? Is this going to allow me to go down the path that I want to go down? Or am I going to lose those funds, learn something from it, and move on to something else? And yes, I've been able to do a lot of that. I hope that answers that question that you're asking there.
Yeah, it does. So I've been giving that background because, you know, people want to know, what did you sell to get your money up? Right? And I also want to know what the mindset was before you had money. What was your mindset of you even deciding trading would be the avenue or vehicle that's going to get you to the goal, because as you know, we have driven
Sure.
trading. So I want to know, what was
Sure.
your mindset before you had money?
Yeah, and it goes back to when I talk about the cars, because I had a very good friend of mine that had a car lot, and I went to the car lot, and literally the gentleman that owned the car lot was an options trader, forex trader, and I literally started to read some books that kind of opened my eyes to the whole thing, to be completely honest with you. That was my first really kind of intriguing, eye-opening on what could be done in that world. And then I learned that I learned from those that were already doing it, is really what I did. I learned what they were doing, how they were structuring trades, how they were analyzing charts, and you know, kind of the time frame. I'm a longer term trader than a lot of people are. They're short term traders. I like long term. I get into something and I'm able to ride that for a period of time. That allows me freedom so that I can do other things, right? Other things that I can broaden out into to generate that income as well. And as time goes, you just accumulate those funds as you're going along. Then new opportunities come along, like DebtBox did. And then that allowed me then to diversify into DebtBox. And the beautiful thing with what DebtBox is doing, you guys, is we can diversify right in DebtBox. Each project is its standalone project. DebtBox isn't going anywhere. What they've done is they've gone in, they've created other projects within this ecosystem that we can take the funds that we're making and diversify those funds into nodes. Okay, let's look at a node for a minute.
Right, yeah. Explain to me what a node is, for those who don't know what a
Yeah.
node is and the importance of it and why you love it so much.
Correct. So a node, I call it an employee, is what I call it, because I purchase a node and it's like having an employee. And what is that employee doing sitting there? It's running on the blockchain and making coin every day, the token every day, and I get rewarded in that. Okay. So the more employees that I get on that particular blockchain that's sitting there compiling that software as it's going along to create those tokens, the more opportunity I have for token wise for what those projects are going to do, and the values can go up. So I can make additional funds from that as well. So my whole mindset when I got into this, and it wasn't at the beginning, you guys. At the beginning, I started out very, very small, and I bought 10, 15 nodes. And I started out just because I wanted to see how the whole system kind of worked together, how it all operated, how the mining worked, how the assets worked, and so on. And when I first got in, we didn't have the ability for micro nodes or node rentals or anything. You had to purchase those nodes. So that was kind of my first, opportunity to get into this, to really see what it was. But when I got into this, I'm like, my word, they're going to be bringing on more and more projects of things that I like in commodities, because over the years in options and different things, I dealt in the commodities. So here I am going, okay, they're creating a blockchain on black gold, oil, crude oil. Then they're creating a blockchain on natural gas. Love natural gas. They're creating it on aluminum. And as the time has gone along, you guys, as this ecosystem has been coming along, and one thing we all learned when we were in the DR is how each project feeds off of another project and off of another project and so on. So that made sense to me to say, okay, I'm going to come in, because what's the company doing? They're designing software to run on the blockchain. Well, what's the software? The software is the node. Okay, so if the company's creating the node, what is that? That's an asset. Okay, so as the more nodes that I can have, the more assets I have of the company, and then a long run value of, it's like holding a piece of real estate. It's an appreciating asset inside the company. See, I look at this differently than a lot of people when they join. They look at coin accumulation. I don't.
Wow.
I look at this as node accumulation, because the nodes are the asset that the company is designing. The byproduct of that is the coin. I want the assets. Okay. So
Hold on.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
If you guys don't understand what he just said, he wants the golden gooses. Forget the coins. Because if he accumulate more golden gooses, the coins are the byproduct of accumulating the actual golden goose.
That's right.
That lay the eggs. Good.
That's right. And that's the, so when those are gone, there's never any more on that project. So let's talk about now how, and I had a list of notes here, but we're kind of going down a different path here because I like this. So let's talk about the coin. Okay. So if we're accumulating the coin, and I've accumulated a lot of coin, hundreds of millions of coin on projects. All right. So now if I look at this, am I willing to cash in a portion of those coin to buy more assets? A lot of people would say, well, that's stupid, Eric. You shouldn't do that. You should hold the coin. But all I'm doing is I'm transferring the value of that coin straight across to a node that is of equal value, in my opinion. Okay. When I do that, what did I just do? I created an asset of owning the node for future what? Value, but then also having that node, the byproduct is what? The coin. Okay. So really, yes, this, and I like to take nodes and the coin that I'm making in one product and of pretty much equal value, look at the node in another product because the coin value is very similar. Okay. So for me, that's an equal transfer. It doesn't make sense for me to take NatG, which is quite a bit less than say like Bev would have been, and buy the nodes that way. I try to buy them of nodes that are almost of equal coin value so that when I transfer, I'm getting that same value in what I'm purchasing. All right.
Yeah, that's a major bar, right?
It is.
Can you give us I know you gave an example of NatG to Bev. So let me just understand this. So when you say equal value, can you give me an example of what you actually did so we can get that understanding?
Yes. So I accumulated a lot of the aluminum, okay, coin. And it's been pretty stable. It hasn't really gone up a lot. It hasn't really gone down a lot. It's just been kind of the price point has been fairly stable. So what I did is I waited when drip first came out. I went in and loaded up on drip. Okay, not huge, but when I mean loaded up about 20 nodes. All right. So now I look at where drip is now at $1,000. That's more of the price point that makes sense for transferring a portion of the coin. And what I did is I transferred 25% of my coin over to purchase the drip at that point. Okay. So when I first got into drip, that was money coming out from something else I was diversified in and put it into the drip at the very beginning because I wanted to hold those nodes. So the transfer side happened at the $1,000. Okay. So what I'm teaching you guys, you're not all going to learn this on this call. This comes from years of trading and understanding dollar values on what you're getting out of it by comparing one project to another. Now, what did I do at that point when I did that? I purchased these other nodes for future value. We don't know what those values are going to be, but we know that we have a rough idea of that based on the tokenomics of the light papers when you read those light papers. And I tell you, anybody that's involved with our groups, I tell them there is a lot of information in that light paper. If you break it down and really break it down and study it, that is not talked about. There is, pricing, having, burning ratios. There's little hidden gems in there that they don't bring out and they don't talk about. So I like to cover a lot of that because if you understand the project like DCM right now, you guys, the value, I love this project. I'm just telling you, I love this project. Why? Because it's connected to Bitcoin. It's
Mm.
Bitcoin. Okay. Now that asset alone, if people just understood what the value of those nodes are going to be in the long run, I don't know what it's going to be, but if it's in any way connected to Bitcoin, they should all be sold out right now, because they are so, everybody should be buying those nodes. Those of anything. When we were in the DR, do you guys remember when they got up on the stage and they talked about and said, listen, this is the biggest project we're going to do as a company. Do you remember them talking about that? Then they were standing up there. This is the biggest. I heard that and I'm like, bing, okay. Right. So for me, that made sense why to accumulate more of the DCM on the asset wise. And you guys, that's what has allowed me to be able to accumulate over 700 nodes in this company right now, because I'm just looking at it as the assets. Even the micro nodes, you can start small. The value that are in those micro nodes right now, yes, you may not get it on the asset side, but just the value on the coin and accumulating the coin to start small and scale up, then to get a perpetual node when that pricing makes sense for you. You know, when those nodes are coming down to $500, $1,000, and you may not have enough coin over here with your micros, you can add a few dollars yourself. Then you started the cycle of being able to purchase those perpetual nodes as an asset. So
all right, I got it. So say you bought micro nodes, and say micro nodes is worth, you got $1,000 of micro nodes that's accumulated over time, or regular nodes that accumulate over time, and it's saying 1,000 in your debt wallet, and say drip is 1,000. You would take that $1,000 in coins and buy drip with that, basically.
100%. Just starting out, if you're starting out, I look at it that way, because, okay, it's great that you're getting the coin, but really what you want is to be able to transfer the coin to an asset. You know, I'm all either I'm going to be extremely smart in doing this, accumulating the assets for future value, which I feel strongly I am. I trust my gut. Or if I'm selling a lot of the coin and so on, I miss out on the gains there. But I'm at a point now, you guys, that I pretty much just take 10 to 20% of my makings on those assets to buy additional nodes as I go along. So now my business, which this is a business, is self-funding itself to acquire additional nodes. Yeah.
So 10 to 20% of whatever it is. Yep. So you're not risking the whole farm, but you're taking a portion of it to go accumulate more node purchases.
At the beginning, I was taking 100% as I was rolling. along and taking those coins and buying more nodes as we went along, is that was offered for us. And that's really how I've been able to scale up now where I'm at, you guys, in this company. And it's not a secret. It's just how I've approached this in building the assets within the company. And you know, I look at the business side with IX, you know, that's just an additional diversification to be able to generate cash flow to be able to do what I'm talking about here.
So, okay, awesome. Off your trading and off of your commission from the IX side, what is the percentage that you normally take to go ahead and purchase more nodes? Is it the 10 to 20% off of everything you're doing? What's your percentage? What's your game plan with that?
Right now, I'm just at a point where I wait for the next project to come out, and then I look into my wallets where I'm at with my CoinWise. You know, I hold more coin in certain projects that I really strongly believe in, and others I take a portion of those and put them together in the debt coin so that I can then buy the nodes as they come along. So let's say, you know, when Swipe comes out, okay. Yes, I have money on the sideline for Swipe, and I've had that on for Drip as well. I always have a cushion there, but you know, within what I've been able to create here, I also have money sitting in debt for a reason that if the coin drastically drops down, let's say it drops way down, I can go in and buy more coin that I can use as it moves up. Then I have that value because I write everything down, okay, where I'm at, why I bought this block of coin at this price. And then I know when it moves up to that point, I'm not getting rid of the funds that I purchased that coin with. I'm just spending the profits on it. Okay. And that's what I've been doing. Yes.
Guys, I want you to understand what he just said. Before you cash any coins out, before you make any transactions in your wallet, screenshot, write down what the price was at, like what was the coin market price before you made that transaction, yes, so that you know if you're buying lower than what you paid, what you sold it for, or higher, right? And so that you're actually winning when you buy again. Let me know if you guys understand that. And if you guys have any questions, this is the time to ask the node king what to do with this business, because honestly, I want to ask you, how important is trading to understanding what these nodes are doing?
That's a very, very good question. And when you mean trading, are you meaning what I've learned over trading or what I teach with this alone for people?
Let's go with both. Right? Let's go with both.
I would say yes. Trading has allowed me to learn ways to diversify more effectively, for sure. And in trading, you get very, very disciplined. And that's a big thing that traders talk about all the time. It's being very disciplined and being very patient for the alignment of that opportunity to be able to enter that trade. And I look at what I do with DebtBox, very, very similar. I don't just jump out. Yes, I acquire nodes when they come out. Yes, I do that on each project so that I have some to make as much coin as I can at the beginning. And usually I do 10 to 20, maybe even 30 nodes at the beginning. Okay. But my overall strategy now with what they're doing on the pricing, which is, you guys, the pricing, a lot of people say, oh, I hate the price. No, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Where can you go buy a $7,500 asset for $500 or $750? That is giving so much opportunity to those that are in this opportunity to actually be able to purchase a perpetual. I mean, if they didn't, the price point would be so high that people may not get that opportunity to do it. And I love the decreasing price point. Yes,
yeah, Eric, can you say that again? Because I think that the average person on here, if they're already a part of this ecosystem, they don't understand the blessing that is. And I never thought of it the way you just said.
It is.
If that price comes down, we get to purchase a $7,500 asset for $1,750. Explain that one more time, please.
So let's look. Let me kind of explain a little. So let's look at this. When a node comes out, typically it starts at around $7,500. Some of them have adjusted a little bit different, but they're pricing the way they're doing this. Yes, you purchase the node, you get more coin at the beginning. All right, but a lot of people can't afford that $7,500 price point. Now, to me, the most value in this company is the node. All right, so I'm looking at this going, okay, what's my price point going to be as this is moving down the scale based on what I'm going to purchase them at to justify that price point? For me, it's about $1,000, sometimes $2,000. Okay, that's kind of my range in there. So to answer that question, Booney, a lot of people that come into this, 75 is too high, but as it's working down that scale, and let's say it starts getting into the $1,000, $750 or $500, that's giving them an opportunity to come in and buy a $7,500 asset, because that's where it started at, right? For $500 or $750. If people don't think that this asset, when you're buying these nodes, isn't going to be worth what you purchased at the very beginning, you're gravely mistaken in this, because the nodes are the asset of the company's software. So the possibility, now I'm not I don't have a crystal ball on this, and knock on wood, but I would look at, say, NatG. NatG was at $70,000 was the last price that Depbox ever sold one of their nodes at. So if I look at previous, and I like to look at the previous price point. If I look at that, do I think that DCM is going to be at that value one day? There's probably a high possibility of that. Will it happen overnight? No. Will it happen in a year? I don't know. But am I willing to buy those at $750 or $1,000 to see? Yes, because that's purchasing. It's like going out and buying ground, that potentially could be worth a long term, but you're sitting on that, and you're looking at the potential of the appreciation side, and that's how I'm looking at that price point as it's coming down the scale. Is opportunity for those that may not have the opportunity at a higher value, but now here they've got their micronodes going, generating revenue that they could turn around and secure at least one of those or two of those perpetual nodes for future value.
Awesome. Now,
does that make sense?
It makes doubt.
Okay.
Now, question for those who can afford it: what would be the advantage of somebody buying at 75 or 5,000 if there's a benefit in your opinion?
A coin accumulation side, yeah. If they were looking at it going in and saying, listen, I want to buy those at the higher price, yes, absolutely. I think that's it's great for accumulation, for the value of that. Yeah.
Meaning, so because a lot of people don't understand the coin accumulation at 5,000 versus the coin accumulation at 1,000. Can you kind of shed light on yes. That? Because and why would somebody pay 5,000 for the coin versus wait till 1,000?
Yeah. So the price point absolutely represents the amount of coin that you're going to be getting. Yes, when I got into DCM when it first launched, I bought a bunch of them. I think I'm sitting on like 50 of them now. And all I've been doing is just waiting for that price point to slowly move down. So then I take and I say, okay, my value that I have on the DCM and versus the value that I'm going to purchase over here, when it gets down to a certain point, that's going to make sense to do, because then I look at it as going, okay, here's an appreciation side that's going to come in over time. Did that answer that for you?
Oh my gosh, you just lit me up. So
okay.
You're buying at 5,000. Say you bought 50 at 5,000.
Right.
But you're getting so many coins a day at that price range that when the DCM drops to 1,000, you'll take those coins because you accumulated $12,000 in coins, and you'll take those coins to buy 12 more licenses with the 12,000 that you. Oh Lord, baby Jesus. Okay.
Yep, that's exactly right. So now I've secured at this value, and then I've secured it at this value. In trading, you learn what's called dollar cost averaging. Mm-hmm. So you take the value of this at this point, and at this point, and you add them together and divide it by how many lots you may be holding at that point, so you know the dollar value at that point. It's the same thing with these, you guys. I look at it this way. So if I'm buying them at $7,500 and now I'm buying them at $1,000, I take the $7,500 plus these, divide them, and then I know exactly what my price point is on them. Okay, it's this. It's in theory, it's the same thing, but I'm just doing it with assets within this.
Got you. I know Boomie Face was like kind of like questioning it, but if you guys understand what we just talked about, type an 11 in the chat, because I think I need you guys to understand it. Those that can afford $5,000 a pop, right? We need to understand the value, because you're getting so many tokens at $5,000 a pop that by the time it gets to 1,000 a license, you've accumulated so many coins that's worth that has a dollar average that you can go use those coins that has a commission to buy these licenses at 1,000 using what you've accumulated at the DCM price of 5,000. Yep. Super strong, super powerful for those who can do so, right? But this is what we're all looking to achieve: the ability to buy licenses at 5,000, get massive coin accumulation, right? And until the price of the node goes down to 1,000 or 500, whatever your price point is, to use the profit from this to buy more assets with the profit we made at a higher price point.
Hey, Jeff.
Genius. Go ahead.
I want to bring out something that Uncle Joe said. People have to understand, because there's some brand new people in here. These nodes are perpetuals. So when he takes the tokens and purchases a node, that other node that he had previously is still continuing to mine more tokens. So there are some node projects where they only pay for a certain amount of time, but here, whether it's micros or a full license, it is perpetual. It's going to be over a decade, guys, that your nodes are mining.
That's right, Boomy, and that's such an important point. And I'm glad you brought that up, because we're talking about the asset. Now let's talk about the coin for a second, because if you have 10 DCMs that you bought at $7,500, and then all of a sudden now you have 10 DCMs that you're utilizing the coin that you got from this side to roll into buying them at $1,000. Now you look at, okay, now I've got 20 nodes that are mining, but I also have 20 assets. So yes, you're going to be making less coin on this one that you purchased at the time, but you still may have some of the coin. You didn't use them all for this, so you have value in there as well, because you may be holding 25% of those coin or 50% of those coin. I don't mean you have to use all of the coin to buy those, but if you have, let's say you have $20,000, you want to take $10,000 of that to be able to buy those nodes at $1,000. Well, now all of a sudden you have 20 nodes at that point, so you have 20 times the asset on that. And you're right, they're just going to sit there and keep mining. They're going to keep mining, and then once you've done that, then you may move to another project and utilize that one to kind of do the same thing. And that way your wallets stay fairly even as you're growing.
Super strong. I see we got some questions in the chat. I know we have, sorry about that. I know somebody said, please repeat what you said about screenshot and price. So can you give an example of the screenshot and the price again?
Say that again. How
you write things down and before you cash out?
Yeah. So if I was to buy the coin, say it's drops down, we have a 10% or 20% drop. In that I look for those, and if they do, then I may go in and buy the coin at those prices. That's why I keep money in my debt, so that I'm prepared for it to buy it at those dips. So then I look at, okay, what's the coin price at that point? And I went in and bought, say, 1 million coin at that. Then I know what my price point may be at that. So then if I go to move that coin down the road and I see that those nodes are, say, down to $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it is, that I'm not losing money on the coin, but I'm actually moving the coin. And I'll wait till all of a sudden we have a day where it may go up. And if it doesn't go up, guess what, you guys? I hold tight. I'm very patient and disciplined that way. I don't just jump on something. If it's close enough where I may lose a little bit over here, but I can still gain it on the asset side, then I may do that as well.
That's phenomenal. I got guys. So if you guys don't understand that, if you haven't thought about doing trading, this is the best time to tap into our driven trading because the skill set that he has that's allowed him to build wealth. He talked about 25-year out, a 25-year out plan, and he said, "I'm 50. It's gonna be 75. I'll be 75." But you know what I mean? What's the mindset?
Don't rub it in, man. Don't rub it in.
Look, I'm right behind you, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? I just turned 43, okay?
That's painful, painful.
But what's the mindset?
Y'all need to stop because age is just for a trip compared to eternity. Compared to eternity, you're still babies.
Yeah, you're the OG. You're right.
You're exactly right. I agree.
So what's the mindset, the wealthy mindset about this how you thinking instead of 2-3 years, 25? What's the mindset? How did you develop that mindset, man?
I don't know. You know what? I get a lot of from my dad. I gotta give props to my dad. He's actually on this call and he's a wonderful man. And I learned a lot from him just being a very patient individual. And I think that I've traded with him side by side for over 20 years. And I really think that is a big part of what has allowed me to be who I am and what I believe in. And I'll tell you, you know, the big thing too for me is helping others. I've always been kind of the mindset along the way. If I learn something, I love sharing it with others. It's what I love about this company so much is it's why I'm on here, you guys. I'm on here because I want to help people learn what I'm doing because I really feel strongly it's going to help those that listen to this are really going to benefit from it in the long run. You know, and then you can learn that and share it with others is really the way I look at it. And to say, you know, future value of this, you know, those that are in this right now, you have so much opportunity with this, my word. And, you know, it's a fairly simple system. Once you learn what we're doing and how to do it, you guys are going to be creating generational wealth. You're going to be creating wealth for your children's children. That's how I believe about this. And that's why I'm so in this and so strong in this and what I'm doing. I really feel that and when you listen to the owners on what they want to create and the direction that they want to go with this, man, you know that old saying, you're at the right place at the right time. I feel that way. We're all at the right place at the right time in this opportunity.
Bobby, we're gonna get to your question. But I see we have Kamal, you got your hand up, champion. Come on out and ask your question, boss.
Yeah, hey, thanks. Appreciate you guys putting this on. And, you know, it's a lot of great information. And I think when it comes to, you know, the upside potential, it's pretty easy to see. But I think when, you know, I come from crypto and, you know, people who do put together data centers and who, you know, run blocks and put together blockchains and things like that. So how do I explain to them how is consensus established? Is it through like an oracle? Like, how are these coins being minted? And, you know, where can you check in on like an explorer? So, you know, because obviously like it's easy to say, you know, hey, you get X amount of coins every day, but how are they minted? You know, and if I can't answer those questions, I can't bring people aboard. And, you know, when I'm trying to go to people who are, you know, places like Singapore or Hong Kong, you know, and if there is a language barrier, I want to make sure that, hey, I can point them to at least documentation to where they can find that information, you know, not saying you need to know it right now, but somebody at least show me at least more on the technical side of things, how I can explain that to someone or how I can direct them to the place to find those answers. Thanks.
Great question.
You want me to answer that? So,
Sure.
So first and foremost, have you had a chance to go in your back office and read the light papers on the projects?
Not yet. I'm new
Okay.
and I've been focusing on
All right,
driven,
good.
so
So anybody that asks the question about about how these are minted and the process side, I always turn them back to the light papers, because that is what has been created by the company to explain each project and how the coins are minted, and then also how the whole halving and the tokenomic side works. So that's the first step. The other side that I would highly recommend is get on YouTube and go and watch the videos that have been created with the founders of DebtBox. They talk a lot about the process side of things. There's a few videos. One of them is by Roy Nelson. Yeah. Very, very good video. He gets in depth on stuff, on things, and use that as a strong resource. That way you can turn to that. And that way you're not hearing it from a third party, like a guy like me or whatever, but you're actually hearing it from the founders of the company and the owners. Now, the other thing too, that's very exciting, you guys, coming up on the 13th.
Yes.
We've got a roadmap that is going to be brought out by DebtBox on these projects and everything. So I couldn't be more excited about that, because that's directly from them. That's not being made up by other people or whatever. That's coming directly from DebtBox. So that's coming from the mouth as far as I'm concerned. And the 13th is a big day. So Kamal, that's what I would recommend. That way you can understand each product, because each one is so different from one another. And the light paper is so different, even though a lot of the burning and the halvings and those things are different, are similar, but the process side and some of these things are very, very different. Like DCM is very different than NatG is. And really reading that and understanding about watching those videos are involved in the DebtBox Telegram groups where the owners are in there. And you can ask some of these questions and things like that. And Jason's on there all the time, answering, technical questions and things. And I recommend that.
Yes, come on. We dropped the DebtBox project link in there. And what's so cool about the DebtBox is it's inside the chat, www.thedebtbox.com/projects. When you go there, they even have links to where you can find the projects on the blockchain, on coin. So everything you need for somebody who does this, we link everything inside of the light papers. So they leave it up to no guessing, which is so awesome. Because remember, prior to them partner with IX, they had big time investors already looking to invest. So those questions you're asking, they were asking that as well. So instead of trying to have them look here and there, they put everything in the light paper with clickable links, okay? Which is very vital, important, from debt screener to the actual, where the actual coins are actually being minted, everything. So it's all in one place, which is a powerful resource, come on. And I believe you'll find value just in sending them the actual project. And like Eric said, when you go on YouTube and you type in the DebtBox Council or Travis Flaherty DebtBox Council, you'll find those videos that he's talking about. Here's one thing about this company I love. We have so much content, that you'll learn more just from watching videos than you do from just asking questions, because they give it all. And that's what I'm saying. We have so much content, you be trying to research for days. It's all there. So you'll have fun. And the DebtBox light paper is a great place to start.
All right, I definitely want to move on to somebody else, but before I do, I just want to say thanks for answering my questions, and thanks for people in the comments for dropping links, because I need to get going here and do some of my own research. Thanks.
Got it, boss.
Happy to help.
We got the man himself, Mr. Bob.
There's Bob. How are you, Bob?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Eric,
I got a question for you. You were talking about taking accumulated coins and then buying nodes at a lower price because of the futuristic increased value of the nodes when they become NFTs, etc. My question is, are you trying to say that will be a higher value than if you just let the nodes accumulate for their future value?
In my model, Remember, this is the way I do it. This is my strategy. I'm not saying that it's what everybody else has to do. I'm just sharing with you what mine is, but I'm just looking at this as I'm weighing out all the information that I have, and I look at this and I'm like, okay, each project's only going to have a certain amount of nodes. Each project's going to have a certain amount of coin, and these projects are so different from one another. I look at it as like for my style, and it's worked for me for all the years that I have, asset wise, is having the nodes. Now I used as an example previously with NatG, and I look at other nodes as well that they were selling previously on their own. And if NatG or any of those others are an example of what is to come with these assets, I look at that, and nothing, like I say, nothing's guaranteed, but I look at that and I take that into account for that future value of what I'm looking at.
Okay, great.
Okay. Now,
I think I understand your strategy. I just was, you know, I've always been working with Travis and so forth.
Yeah.
He wants to accumulate the coin, so that's what I've been doing. But at the same time, I understand your strategy, because the more nodes you have, the more value you can accumulate as well. So.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with that strategy if you want to get in and just accumulate as many coins as you want, and you know you're kind of just sitting on the sidelines and then seeing. But I'm looking at this, you guys, as creating opportunity for yourself to get more assets. That's the way that I'm looking at this, is allowing you to be able to take some of the coin that you've made, and I'm not meaning you have to take all of it by any means, but you take a portion of what you're doing and then buy yourself some of the assets, so you're broadening and not missing out on the opportunities on these other projects. Because I do know people, when we first got in, you know, they're heavily into like the NatG and they're into the aluminum stuff, but they don't have enough money to do anything else with. But what they have over here, they've accumulated, you know, $8,000 to $10,000 or $20,000 in coin. And I'm like, well, to me, it makes sense taking a portion of that as these other nodes come out and they get to your price point, to offset that. And that way you've got some more assets and more coins in those projects that are going to, because, you know, when you look at this whole thing, we have 11 projects right now, 11 projects. Are all of them going to go boom? I don't know. I mean, but do I think that 2 or 3 of them are going to? Yeah, I do. I really do. I think that some of these projects are more exciting than others are. Like DCM, to me, is extremely exciting because it's pegged to Bitcoin. Love NatG. I love those. There's some projects I like more than others. So those are the ones that I really focus on. But yes, I think that this model works for me and has been working really, really well for a lot of people that we have in our group.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate you.
You bet, Bob.
Awesome. Great question, Bob. So listen, I know there's a good question right here as well. Tracy asks, how important do you think it is to buy debt tokens right now versus buying licenses, especially if they couldn't buy the debt license? Do you have a strategy around buying debt tokens?
And that's a really good question, because I was asked that the other day. I think buying and accumulating debt coin is a great idea, because when I got into this, the coin was sitting at $40. I don't know if you guys remember when we were in. It was way up there. It was something like that, around $40. And well, at the summit was at $40, because I remember standing there talking with Travis, and we were like, okay, what do you think? And I'm like, man, it continued to move up. But I think the buy right now it's phenomenal. It's a great buy. You know, it's a great buy to buy it at right now, and then accumulate and hold that as well. You know, you can take coin and swap your coin from other projects into that and hold it and see. Do I think it's going to hit $40 again? Absolutely. I do. So that's a big upside.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw it too. I saw it go from 20 to 40, and I didn't have any tokens. That's what woke me up about buying tokens. Like,
yeah, yeah. So, and I hold debt coins as well, and that's one of them that I buy on my dips. So,
gotcha.
That's something completely different, but yeah.
Right. So what I want to get, guys, you got any questions? It's time to ask your questions. Yep, that's true, Joe.
I have a question.
Sure.
Hi, happy birthday, Jeff.
Thanks.
Eric, I remember you with a strategy that you had come up with a few years ago. I was wondering, I haven't gotten into Driven yet, but I plan on joining. I was wondering, are you thinking about being one of the educators anytime?
As right now, no.
He's living life.
Yeah, right now, no. I'll just say that right now. So.
Okay.
But you never know what the future is going to be. So
right.
But right now, no.
Okay.
Oh,
But I love what they're doing, and I love the product. I think it's great. I've gone through a lot of it, and I've watched a lot of the videos, and you can't go wrong with Corey. I mean, he's got a great strategy and what they're doing and what they've got put together, and they have so much information and education side, you guys, and it's good education. It really, really is. So yes, absolutely. I think you can't go wrong with what they're doing.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Yes, we want to definitely tap into the trading because, like I said, if nothing more, the skill set that you are going to develop will allow you to dominate your wealth building asset, which are these nodes.
Yes.
Is that Michelle right there? So, all right. So we have a hand up. Strategic man. How you doing, champion? Come on up. Come on, unmute yourself, boss.
Yeah. Strategic man. That's how you pronounce that. Happy birthday.
Strategic, I like that. I used to have a business called Strategic Venture Partners. So yeah, I like that name.
All right. Okay. My question is, toward the end of a project, I've seen where the nodes turn into a NFT.
NFT,
yeah.
NFT. Could you explain how that happens? And for the price, you say that starts around $7,500, and as coins become less available, it drops. To my understanding, a person that bought that node at $1,000, once they turn to an ENT, will it has the same value as the one who spent $7,500?
So on the value, the future value, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to put together, but I just know if they're selling it for $7,500, there's a high chance that it's going to be worth that at least minimum. I'm just saying on the opening on the NFT side. So the NFT stands for non-fungible token. Their whole conceptual side with this is as these assets, nodes themselves over time go through a process. So usually after it sells out, it's between 2 to 3 month period before it becomes an NFT. Once it becomes an NFT, then it is able to be listed on I call it an exchange because that's what it is. I mean, you're able to then to approve to put those nodes on those, and then you're able to ask a certain value that you want for that particular node to be able to sell it. Do I intend on ever selling these? No, I'm just holding these guys, you guys. That's part of my 25 year plan. I'm holding these nodes for as long as possible. But do I think they're going to go up in value? I do, because otherwise, why would I be doing what I'm doing, purchasing the assets? I think that these nodes have the ability to very much increase over time in value because it is a limited asset that the company creates. So I think that it has a big time future value. Like I say, nothing's guaranteed. I'm not a financial planner by any means, but that's what my strategy is all based around.
All right, thank you.
You bet. You bet.
And we have Gladys has her hand raised.
Yes, I don't think I got my question answered. I bought micronodes and like DCM. Can I turn around and take those tokens that I've earned, whatever I get from that, and use to purchase the license of DCM?
Sure. Absolutely. You can swap any token that goes into your wallet. You can swap it over and purchase additional nodes or whatever you want in there. Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
I have people that do that quite a bit with their micronodes.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
I have a question for you, Eric.
Yes.
Something I want you to explain. When we first started, there were no micronodes. There were only the full licenses.
Yes.
What I see people do a lot in business is take the path of least resistance. Oh, I'm going to buy this because it costs less. But I believe if a person can do better than the micros, they absolutely need to do the full license, because a micro gives you just 1% of the token output of a full node.
Right.
So it's a way over time for you to build up to a full license. But I'm like, if you can do a full, like do a full.
Absolutely.
Can you explain that? Because I don't want people thinking, oh, okay, I'll just get the micro, and then they look and they see that accumulation is real slow.
Yeah, it comes down to the pricing that I was talking about. So if they have the micros, I have people in my group and in our team that start with say the $150 package, and they're getting 3 micros, and that starts generating enough coin as they accumulate that, then they can add more micros to that as they go along. And that's what's happening within my group. I'm noticing is people are creating more, taking the coin from the micros, creating more micros, and then they get more coin. And as they're building it up, I have a lady that's in my group now. All she's doing now is just waiting for drip to go down to $500 so she can buy one. So she's using the micros as the stepping stone to get to the perpetuals. Now, if people can right from the shoot and they're looking and they're like, wow, I can get a drip now at $1,000, and they have a couple, $2,000-$3,000 that they can get in with, I always recommend getting the perpetuals right from the beginning. And the reason why is because you have that asset. Who knows? All of a sudden we may wake up one morning and they're saying, listen, the value now on such and such node is now $10,000. I don't know, but let's just say that happens. That does happen, and they adjust prices in your back office sometimes, and they do go up. So right from the beginning, I always tell people, if you can afford to get the perpetuals, go for it. But if you can't, you got to start somewhere. I always say, take those steps. Well, you got to start someplace, and you can't accumulate assets unless you start from somewhere. And if you can start with the micros and then you can start scaling that up, wonderful. It's a beginning for you.
Yeah, and I love what you said. Everyone on here has to understand, if you start with the micros, you gotta keep scaling. Like the goal is to get 100 micros so you can actually have the 100% of the token output. So teach that to your teams, those of you who are in the business who are going to join. If a person's getting 5, maybe next month they get 10, and then you can get up to 50 at one time. So just understand, you want to keep on adding so that you can get to 100% of the token output.
Yeah, and I always give 4 things that my guys follow: is start small, scale up, diversify, and repeat.
Ooh, that's good.
Start small,
somebody put that in the chat.
Diversify and repeat. Do that over and over again, and that's how you accumulate assets.
Wow, that's so good. Start small, scale up, diversify,
and then repeat.
There we go. That's right.
Yeah,
that key, that diversify word, right? When you say diversify in this strategy, what do you mean?
Yep, buying more nodes. Start small, scale it up coin wise, diversify by taking the coin, a portion of the coin or whatever, get an asset or get more micros, whatever, and then keep repeating that process until you start building yourself up.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying it makes sense when we diversify, we want to have Nat G, DCM, drip, Bev, blocks. So you want to have a portfolio of diversification, guys. Get them all.
That's right. And that's what was so beautiful about the promo they had. That started you right out of the chute for $500. You had 18 of them, you know, and so we were just, you know, this is a great way to start. So now you can still do the same thing in theory, but you just piece it together a little bit differently in your back office, but you can accomplish the same thing as you're going along.
Yes. This is so powerful, guys. If you guys feel this is so powerful, I need 100 in the chat. I also want to give a big shout out to Papa Garrick's, right? That instilled the discipline that Eric has right now. So shout out to you, Papa Garrickson, and the fact that you guys are trading together. That is amazing. Trading is also a legacy generation building situation where you can do it with yourself, your family, your kids can learn it all at the same time. Your kids can be learning how to trade and demo all day long, right? It's a skill set that's going to help us in the real world and the real world of wealth generating. This is what I'm saying to you guys. That's why I'm taking trading seriously. When he told me that he's trading, I think I heard a story. It was like your wife, you had bought like $1 million worth of nodes, and your wife was like, "Okay, you think it's enough to stop now?" You're like, "Yeah, no." Is that story true? Your wife was like, "You can chill out on the node buying."
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
I'll tell you, it's great to have a supportive wife, supportive family members. You know, it makes it difficult if you don't. You know, let's just put it that way. So she knows my vision. You know, we've been together, what, 13, 14 years. So she knows me and how I am, but we're all working towards that same goal. And this is not just an individual endeavor for me. I've been ingrained this in my family. My mother knows what I do. My dad knows. My wife knows. My mother and father-in-law know. You know, we all are part of this. We all work at this together. And you know, DebtBox, this has been an absolute blessing in our lives. It really came across at a right time too. So, you know, when you look for those opportunities, and this just came along, and I got to give a lot of props to Travis because I was following what he was doing, and I had heard about DebtBox before it ever partnered with IX and with Joseph and everything, and it just happened and came together, and I just couldn't be happier than where we are right now.
Man, awesome. Quick question: what was the turning point where you went from scaling small and starting small to saying, "Listen, I'm going all in. I'm trying to buy as many nodes as possible"? What was that point where you were like, "I'm not playing with this one"?
When the rentals came out, when they started, when I was in it, and then I started seeing it, and then when the rentals came out, that's really where the door kind of opened for me for going, gosh, you know, this is a scaling opportunity for people that can start small. And then when they went from the rental side to the micros for a lifetime, I was like, this is awesome. This is amazing. And that's where, you know, this thing just kind of really started to explode. But I was about 90 days into this before I really started really scaling it. And then after that, you know, I was just thinking, I'm going to be in this almost a year coming up. I can't believe it's been a year. It's just gone by so fast. But I look at, okay, with a year, where am I going to be at in another year? You know, you guys, I got a personal goal of 2,000 nodes. I'm just going to accumulate nodes and continue to accumulate nodes as it goes along and scale up. That's all I'm doing, you guys.
It's so powerful because you talk about micros as micros, and you talk about perpetuals as assets, right? I'm hearing you say that over here. So you don't look at micros as assets versus the perpetuals as assets, in your opinion?
No, because the asset is the actual perpetual. That's the product. That's the software side.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's
the coins can be classified technically, if you want to classify that as an asset, sure. But the actual, you know, the to me, the real asset in this is owning the nodes, because you own the nodes. I'm a collector of nodes.
Node collector.
I'm a node collector.
Well, here's the cool thing about what you just said. If you guys understand what we said, it's like buying Manhattan when Manhattan was $1, like a piece of land. So each node is like buying land, right? Of the actual commodity. I want to paint a picture so you guys can understand how I'm seeing it. Imagine there's an oil mine in Nevada, all oil mine, and that each node gives you access to a drill, and that drill allows you to drill as much oil as that drill can produce a day. Now, that's the asset. That's the asset that allows you to get all the oil out of the ground with that one asset, which is a node, which equals a drill. Now, if you have 2 drills and Eric had 7 drills to drill all the oil, 700 drills to drill all the oil that them 700 drills can get out the ground, what would you want? The drills or the oil that comes from the one drill, right? So he's buying drills to drill all the oil that's in the ground, versus you buying drills to get the oil out the ground and hold it and wait for that oil to go raise up in price. See, when you buying the drills, you own the oil that's coming out of all 700 drills. You own all basically you have more oil, aka coins, over time because you have 700 drills drilling the same amount of oil that one drill would drill that one. If you understand what I'm saying, did that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I now understand the power of risking selling the oil to buy another drill.
Yep.
Hey, Jeff, before we have, I know it's getting late. Some people are dropping off, but let me say this, guys, just like you talked about the last promotion, the 18X mixed bundle of micronodes to help get you started. Just know, I'm telling you, there may be another promotion coming real soon. So those of you who aren't plugged in, get plugged in because you don't want to miss this. I've had people who missed the 18X because they weren't in tune to the Facebook groups and it was over and it was like, we've been talking about it. They extended it. That's why it's so important to get plugged in. Be sure that you are in the debt info group. That is the education group on the nodes. Every prospect who wants to learn about the nodes and get educated, make sure they are in the debt info group on Facebook. Then once a person joins the business, make sure they're in the IX members only group as well. If you don't know what I'm talking about, hit me up or hit up your success upline partner and we'll get you those links, but you want to get plugged in. And again, the Telegram groups. On the Telegram English announcements channel, that's the first one you want to be a part of because it tells you all the different events that the company has. So plug into that and then you can get into the driven trading and the as well as the debt info as well. The debt Telegram groups. There's a lot. We've got a lot here that no one needs to be in the dark. People are in the dark because they want to be. They're not pressing in to learn. So this has been awesome. Jeff, I'm going to turn it back to you so you can get some last words from Eric. Everybody wants the recording. I will get the recorded rendered. It should be out tomorrow. And you want to get this content to others. It's not just for you to re-listen. You can re-listen, but this is some valuable content. And we appreciate you so much, Eric. I'm so privileged to be able to call you friend. And I can hear your heart and how you're just pouring into our team, guys. He doesn't get any financial benefit from being here with us tonight, but he's getting the benefit of, he's just a good person and he's fulfilling his calling of helping other people. So thank you for being here.
Well, I made 85 friends tonight. That's beneficial, right?
Yes, we have 70 people on here.
85 people I didn't know tonight. So it's good to meet everybody.
Wow. I want to first thank you, man, because like I said, if you didn't become the example, right, of what this kind of wealth building success is like, we wouldn't have an example to show. So I want to thank you for 23 years ago deciding to go in and learn your lessons and go to the school of hard knocks to be able to be here 23 years now, right? To be able to dominate in this wealth generation situation. And so I just want to thank you for that, right? Thank you for coming on my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Feel good.
You're absolutely welcome.
It's awesome. But so we're gonna end this because I know it's been an hour and a half, man. We can go on, but I want to be able to say this, man. For those who don't understand or was thinking about, I don't like trading, I don't understand trading, I think it's worth it, especially if we own nodes, to at least understand this trading world, understand the discipline that comes with it. Just dive in, because if you understand, he diversified from Forex to options and crypto. So his diversification was in the same lane, right? And now he's at a point where he actually has a strategy that he told us tonight from his education of understanding trading, right? And so now, do you have any alerts that you set up to when the price goes up and down? Do you have any alerts that you set up to go off to notify you?
I do. I have it set up on my MT4, and how my software works that I've done for myself. It has an alert system built into it, and yeah, I have alerts that work on and let me know on my swings. Yes, I do.
Awesome. So even when it comes down to buying these nodes or buying the coins, do you set alerts for that?
No, I don't. Well, yeah, I don't, but you can. There is the ability to be able to not on the nodes itself, but on the coin prices. You're able to. There's several different exchanges and different things that you can do some of that stuff on. So if it hits a certain price, it will alert you on the coin value.
Correct. Yeah, and I will do another training where I show you how to do that. I do that through Deck Screener.
Yeah,
I set my alerts on Deck Screener.
That was the one. Yeah.
Training. Yeah. That's what you have.
I do. I use Deck Screener all the time. Yes.
Let's go. We with the pros, baby.
Yeah, it's a great tool to have. Yes.
So I don't know if whale is like if calling you a whale is like a negative connotation, but I mean
I don't know.
But we just got a strategy from a major playmaker, ladies and gentlemen, a major strategy. So it would behoove us not to take this information and not use it. We need to use this like heavily. Don't take this information lightly, because like I said, when have you been in a room with a person that's actually dominating in what we own and control, and he's able to give you the blueprint of how he does it? Obviously, something is working if he'd accumulated over 700 nodes within a year. 9 times out of 10 is the mindset and strategy that he put in place to acquire nodes. Because other people got money too, but they don't have 700 nodes, right? So I want you to understand the mindset and the strategy of Mr. Eric Garrickson when we leave today. Okay. Any final words you want to leave with us, Eric, before we get out of here?
Yes. The biggest thing first of all, I want to thank you guys for having me. And I appreciate you, Jeff, too, and happy birthday. The biggest thing if you really desire this, you can figure out a way to make it work. And I'll just tell you, it's all in the heart. If you really, really want it, you can figure it. That's why I'm here and that's why Jeff and Boomy and all of us, you have such an amazing ability and opportunity here to create assets within one spot. And I'm just thankful for that. I really am. And I'm seeing since I've been in this a year, people's lives have changed. And if you really desire it, you can achieve it with this for sure. And I think it's just a great model that they have. And all the years that I've done what I've done, you have one spot, you can do it in a lot shorter period of time. So it's just brilliant what they've got.
And one final question. For the monthly accumulation, what strategy you give people to accumulate nodes a month if they're not trading or whatever, they're using their income, or maybe, what would be the strategy for somebody to be accumulating every month, from the person who may not have a lot to the person that does have the means to do so?
Well, I do it a little different with the guys that I work at on the blueprint. I call it my blueprint. It depends on each person where they're at and what they want to achieve. But I really try to ingrain into people, if they have the ability to have a perpetual, get a perpetual per week. Let's design the blueprint so you're able to purchase a perpetual per week. That way you're adding 48 perpetuals per year to your portfolio. But micro, same thing. Get it going to a point where you can at least do 3 perpetuals a week as you're growing along, which is $150 if you can accumulate that way, and then scale up to where you can get to a point where you're doing at least 1 perpetual in a month, 2, 3 to 4, and that way you're bringing it up. And that's for a different call, but that's a definite blueprint that I've tried to teach those that are involved in our group how to do that.
Man, that now, if that wasn't the golden ticket, y'all, I don't know what is.
Real,
Okay?
I love that.
Love everything. So, all right, boom. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna fare you farewell. Well, I want you guys to come off mute and thank Mr. Eric Garrison for coming out here and being so selfless with the information. So we can come off mute and thank Mr. Garrison as we exit here. And I want to say, guys, this has been the most impactful call of 2023 for me, right? Because I really got the actual information for somebody who's doing it at a high level. High level. We didn't even think about weeks. We talking about once a month. We talking about once a week minimum, baby. Right? So
I want to thank for this information. Thank you, Eric. I do a lot of trading, but I gotta get
Thank
into
you,
where I'm
Eric.
making a lot of money.
Thank you, Boomy. Thank you, Jeff.
Just take those steps, you know, start small. Like I said, you start small and then scale it up and diversify. You can do that with trading. That's what I learned in trading, and you can do that, you guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Appreciate your insight, Eric.
Guess
You
what?
guys,
He
absolutely happy to help.
also
Appreciate you.
holds a high rank, so he's getting money from the network. So that's another place you can get money to buy notes.
100%. Yep. And I do it with that all the time. So
Happy birthday, Jeff.
thank you. So all right, Mr. Eric Garrison, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you
Thank
dropping
you.
all the nuggets, all the stuff, all the bars.
happy to do it.
Thank
Oh, my goodness.
Thank
You guys are welcome.
All right, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday.
As usual, Jeff, you bring the sauce.